Over the weekend, we participated in the GMTK Game Jam 2022, a worldwide online event in which tens of thousands of programmers, artists, and musicians form teams to submit thousands of games, all while adhering to a tense 48-hour timeframe. These teams can be as big or as small as you like, but after 2 days, you must submit your game. Myself and Fifth King joined forces with experienced programmer Marvin and talented 2D artist Local Cryptid, with our eyes set on an end goal so extremely far out of sight.
Like in most game jams, there's a common theme that every group has to stick to and somehow incorporate into their game. The announcement of that theme also marks the beginning of the game jam working period, as everybody starts concepting and searching around for unique ideas.
The theme this year was
Roll of the dice.
Oh, finally!
That theme might immediately spark ideas of randomness
Now
and
that's going to be
probability,
interesting.
or board games and casinos.
Oh, this is
but,
fun.
As always,
So, roll of the dice. Board games, gambling with chances, or clever number play. That's probably the first things that come to mind when thinking about that theme. Problem is though, it lies very close to randomness, which is almost never good game design, and hard to nail down. So, second thing we thought about was the physical properties of dice.
I think there are multiple directions that we can go into. Of course, obvious thing for us, like D&D stuff.
If you take a dice as a player and you let them roll over a grid, and then you can fight enemies, and the amount of damage you do or what enemies you fight is depending on what number is on the top of your dice.
Ooh,
Yeah.
a game where it's not up to you.
Well, that doesn't sound like a game.
A game where you can't do anything.
Hell yeah.
we had a few initial ideas. A top-down shooter, in which the arena is the face of a dice, each face offering a different environment and demanding a different playstyle to conquer. A sandbox world builder, but the fate of your civilization lies in the lap of the gods as they play dice atop your world, causing various changes that need to be adapted to. A Viking communicating through the past to unearth his history, presented through runic symbols on archaic cubes. Sadly, these ideas were way too big of a scope for the 48 hours we were allotted. But eventually.
One idea I had. Let's say you'd use like the different numbers on the numpad or something like that to roll onto the recording side or something like that. That could make up for a more unique way of playing such a game than like WASD. So let's say you have a grid. You're here. You see there's a 1 on this side. You can't roll to 6 because that's on the bottom side right now. At first he's shown which side is at which place, so maybe the 4 is here, the 5 is here, and the player can, well, roll around the grid, collect stuff, or maybe dodge stuff that is coming up every turn.
An arcade roll the cube game with a movement system based on the map of a dice. Like those classic Flash puzzle games, except with the dice. But it couldn't be just that. We had a team of 4. How could we spice it up, make it more fun to play?
And we could also throw the rhythm in there, so there's a rhythm you'd have to stick to, and roll to the rhythm, basically.
Now, for an aesthetic to keep our artist busy.
You are a rotating beehive, and you roll onto flowers, and once you touch them, the land flourishes, but if you miss the beats, then the land goes barren, or tiles go barren, and you can't touch them anymore.
A roll the dice rhythm game about keeping plants alive. That's something we can work with. Now, you may have expected this devlog to go differently to the others you see on YouTube, seeing as we're documenting a team working together simultaneously. However, you'd be wrong, my friend. What little potential we have for constant progress and collaboration was quickly killed by time zones. So Fifth and Marvin promptly jumped into coding, while I got some much needed sleep in preparation for the following days.
Since our team featured 2 programmers, it made sense to split the work. I started on the game's general mechanics and the turn-based updates of the tile map, while Marvin focused on making the player cube roll over the grid. The essence of my task was done pretty quickly, and I created a little debug screen to keep track of the health and the state of every tile at a glance. Meanwhile, Marvin thought of how to encode the different states of the player without using a super bloated state machine. He eventually made it work by treating the cube as two number bands, shifting after every move. After we threw that together with the special input method, we discovered what I was initially hoping for. It was absurdly difficult to wrap your head around.
Local Cryptid provided a bunch of concept sketches, while I got started on making some rhythm game music. I wanted to go for a chill lo-fi feel. I just had this image in my head of tiny bees on the side of the screen dancing to this. Oh, that's morbid. Alright, angry bees. Still a rhythm game, but these bees got the fire within them. They're fighting a head-on battle with Mother Okay. I mean, I agree, it was a little intense. But, like, there's no such thing as too intense for bees.
There are a few problems, and we fixed those, but it's getting a bit feature creepy and crowded. One thing, for example, what hinders him from just rolling in a circle and, you know, just going over to the same tiles over and over again, because that's not hard. And it's also a bit hard to keep track of all the sites without any UI. And that's why I also wanted the rhythm out. We could do, like, we have the beehive, it rolls around, and you collect bees. Every roll you do costs you life, and the bees you collect give you life back.
This change in direction was actually a saving grace for the project, as it took away an unnecessary element of tension. The control on health was enough of a strain on the brain. There needed to be some elements to balance out the stress. Plus, even we were having difficulty controlling the thing. With this new direction, we remodeled the cube, added particles, and started to put together the game with a new incentive. Collect the queen bee to repopulate the hive. Plus flowers. I created the new music. It's cliche and cheesy as hell, and it's perfect for the game. I also created some sound effects for the roll, taking damage, and
we could even go for something funny. Maybe some bees, I don't know, humming in the tune, like, I don't know, meow, 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 or something like that.
With my limited Unity skills, I got to work on some basic menu elements and animations, because adding in a menu with animations can make your game feel way more complete and busy than it actually is. So let me just... No. There we go. Finally. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. We got some people into Playtest, find any bugs, learn about the player experience, got some great tips to polish the game.
Zum einen, wenn man Quit Game drückt, hängt sich das Spiel auf. Wollte ich mal anmerken.
Interesting. Ja, das ist bei Browser Embed, I guess.
Die Mechanik sehr cool. Mir gefällt der Artstyle. Je öfter ich mich bewege und wenn ich jetzt annehme, die Biene ist oben links und ich bin oben rechts gerade, dann verliere ich ja schon automatisch durch den Weg enorm viele Leben.
Wenn du die Biene aufsammelst, kriegst du die Leben ja alle wieder.
Ach, alle?
Ja, du kriegst alle wieder. Das ist egal.
Okay, cool.
Aber ansonsten, die meisten Sachen sind irgendwie mit Feedback ja unterlegt. Also wenn irgendwas passiert.
Irgendwelche Anmerkungen.
Ich habe euch eh schon zugehört und alles, was ich anmerken würde, habt ihr eh schon. Also so ein Game Over Screen.
Ja.
Bisschen Dings, Grafik wird ja eh noch ein bisschen gemacht.
Ja.
Nee, ich find's gut.
Finish the tutorial, make an itch page, write the description, go to submit. Oh. That's not too... Oh. Can't say I'm too surprised. But it was handled quite well, and we got it submitted just in time to present. Roll the Hive. A game where you control a colony of bustling bees through their conveniently shaped beehive in a puzzling A to B journey. Collect queen bees, avoid patches of thorns, and populate the field with flowers using just the numbers on your keyboard to roll the hive onto that corresponding face. Using logical thinking and pattern recognition, try to get a high score, and try not to get lost. If you want to give it a shot, link is in the description. I challenge you, it's way harder than it looks. These bee doodles were made by StrawbeeArts, their socials are also linked below.